Pro Tools Ultimate comes with the 11 amp sim plugin, which contains several different guitar and bass amps, as well as different cab choices. If you link your amp and cab type, this will change both of these when you select a new amp model. So if I choose the 59 Tweed Lux amp, I get a matched Tweed Lux cab. You can also unlink these to pair up different amp and cab combinations to customize your tone. Each of the amp types model real-world guitar amps. The 59 Tweed Lux is based on a 1959 Fender Deluxe. This is great for clean and clean crunch tones. The 59 Tweed Bass is based on the 59 Fender Bassman. Originally intended for bass guitar, this ended up being a staple in country, rock, and blues guitarists in the 50s and 60s. This has a bit more crunch and push to it than the Tweed Lux model. The 64 Lux Vibrato and 64 Lux Normal are based on the 1964 Fender Deluxe Reverb Vibrato channel and Normal channel. The Vibrato channel has a bit more drive to it. The 64 Black is a 1964 Fender Vibreverb combo. This is similar to the previous two amps, but it also has a bright option and a mid-band option for the EQ. The 65 Black SR is based on a 1965 Fender Super Reverb with a larger 4x10 cab. The 65 Black Mini is based on a 1965 Fender Champ Combo with a single small 10-inch speaker. The 65 J45 is based on the Marshall JTM45. This was the first guitar amp made by Marshall and has a similar tweed sound to the Fender Bassman. This model has bridged input channels, each with their own volume control, a high gain channel and a normal channel. The 66 AC High Boost is based on a 66 Vox AC30. This is one of my all-time favorites for clean and clean crunch blues tones. The 67 Black Duo is based on a 1967 Fender Twin Reverb. This is another one that's great for clean and clean crunch, blues, and country tones. The 67 Plexi Vary, the 68 Plexi 50, and the 69 Plexi are all based on Marshall Super Lead Plexi heads. These are all great for vintage rock tones. The 82 Lead 800 is based on the Marshall JCM 800. This was the flagship Marshall amp in the 80s and is really great for rock tones. The 85 M2 lead is based on the Mesa Boogie Mark II, another great one for hard rock tones. The 89 SL100 models are based on the Soldano SLO 100 Super, another great amp for rock and heavy metal tones. This is one of my personal favorites. The 92 treadplate models are based on the Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, Channel 3 and Channel 2. Channel 3 is a modern high gain, and Channel 2 is a vintage high gain. The 93 MS30 is based on a matchless DC30 combo amp. The 97 RB01B, red, blue, and green are based on the 3 channels of the 1997 Bogner Ecstasy 101B. Red is lead, blue is rhythm, and green is clean. The DC amps at the bottom are all custom models that are loosely based on some of the previous models, but with some custom modifications. For example, the DC Modern 800 is based on the JCM 800, but with a bit of a punchier, more modern tone than the 82 Lead 800. The DC Vintage Clean is based on the Vox AC30, but has a bit less bite than the 66 version. So that's an overview of the amp models in 11. In the next video, I'll further customize my tone by playing with different cab options and microphone options.